Welcome back to Maelstrom Gaming Studios. I'm Craig.
And I'm Sam, proving I don't just exist in battle reports.
And today we're going to go over a question that has been asked a lot for new players, and that is, where do you start collecting Tyranids? If you're new or old, hopefully you get some value out of this video. If you do, please like and subscribe. We do plenty of other Tyranid content and other armies, as we are slowly featuring Admic on the channel too. Comment down below other video ideas you have for us, and we'll definitely try to cover them in the future. With that being said, let's get into the video. So an overview before we get into it, this is what we'll cover today. We're going to have where to start with your Tyranids, and then once you have your starting point, how to expand your force, what forces to consider. Right now we are recording this as the time it is 8th edition. Hopefully, knock on wood, a 9th edition codex is coming in the back half of the year for us. We'll see, so hopefully this doesn't go too out of date too quick, but just to consider what units you probably want to look at getting. Stay away from others, but then, that's that. We'll cover Forge World because it is a pretty key topic for Tyranids specifically. Purchasing methods for Tyranids. There are other ways besides just buying tons and tons of boxes from GW.
Right.
We'll let you know on some of those.
There's a smarter way to do it.
There's a smart way to collecting Tyranids because they are one of the most expensive armies to collect. Then, at the end of it, we will go over some example lists, starting with very easy ways to collect Tyranids. It's kind of a cheaper army. It'll be a all-comers list, not necessarily I wouldn't take it to a tournament to inspect a win, but at the same time I think it can handle some punches and throw some punches back to most armies. So if that all sounds good, let's get into where to start. So first, when you're starting, and this works for all armies, but we'll go over Tyranids, is where do you want to ask yourself this, where do you want to start with your collecting of Tyranids? Are you wanting to get into competitive play? Are you collecting them because you just love the looks of an endless swarm of space bugs? Or, I mean, is it just for fun? Is it this maybe your second, your third army, and you're just, you're learning to play 40k and this is what you want?
Definitely, and Tyranids are one of the most striking and distinct armies in 40k, and there's tons of ways that you can kind of spec into them and make them look cool. That's
an excellent point. Tyranids, second to Space Marines, are probably one of the deepest codexes in 40k. There are so many, not that they're all competitive, but there are so many different ways to play Tyranids that it's important to think about before you get too far into it.
Right.
So the next question you want to ask yourself is, how big do you want your army to be? Is this going to be your collection? Kind of like me and some other people, I've got 7,000 points of Tyranids. Is this going to be my big collection? I'm looking for all of it. Do you want just enough variety to play just a few different army lists of 2K games? Or are you looking for smaller, 1K combat patrol? Everyone plays their different point levels in their local meta. It's just, you got to ask yourself this before you start just buying boxes of 40k because it is expensive.
It's a very expensive way to do things.
We want people to get in the hobby. That's half the reason. Part of the reason why we have this channel is to get new people in the hobby, kind of teach them, and we want to see this hobby continue to grow and have fun with it. But it is financially expensive. We're just trying to help you out here.
Things to consider always.
And then finally, kind of goes into what we said, but do you have a list in mind? Do you like the Horde, the big hordes of gaunts? Do you want to play Monster Mash with just the big bugs? Nidzilla. Or just a more balanced approach with some big bugs, some medium bugs, some small bugs?
A classic banquet of bugs.
Yes, just something to think about. So first place is where to start. You will need a codex. Oftentimes, I will say, just if you're getting into it, again, if you're brand new to 40k in general, you might want to just pick up a codex. If you know 40k and this is your second or third army, maybe you already have an understanding of how things work and you don't necessarily need to do this. But you will need a codex to at least play.
Right.
This will allow you to kind of look at units, see what things you like based on rules, looks, things like that, to give you kind of a general overview. Right now, again, at the time of recording, we have Blood of Ball, and it is key for playing Tyranids, especially on the more competitive side, because it gives us a lot of options. However, that will become obsolete probably within the next couple months.
Yeah. If we were recording this video a year ago, it would be a must buy, but now it's
$40. You can maybe find it cheaper elsewhere, but I would try and just get by finding what you need online, asking other people, and they can kind of give you, some tips to what to pick.
Make friends with another Tyranid player who already owns it, and then just take pictures of what you need.
Exactly. Battlescribe has a lot of it in there. It's not as clear, but you can get it out of that. I believe you can get it in the Warhammer 40K app.
Yes, the 40K app.
By GW.
By GW. I don't know. I can't remember exactly the specifics of what it gives you, but it has some of the older publications from 8th edition available for free.
Yeah.
Or at least if you pay the premium subscription, I think you have access to a backlog of older books.
So at the very least, maybe if you have that it'll be cheaper than buying the book.
Right.
Because again, the book is important, but it's expensive and it'll be obsolete soon. So I wouldn't at this time waste your money with it.
And this is just a gripe in general, but those books have like an appalling amount of content for how much money you have to pay for them.
Yeah,
but that's
the way it is.
Yeah.
So now you got your books, now you got to get some models. So there's two ways. One, you got the Start Collecting box. This is a good start. For the Tyranids, it's a little weird.
It's an interesting assortment of units, because Gene Stealers are cool, Broodlords are cool, Trigons are cool, but when I think of like a classic Tyranid force, those are not the units that immediately spring to mind.
Not exactly. Technically, if you play Jormungandr, these can all pop up together with the Trigon. It's a little weird, and it's difficult with Tyranids because with the Start Collecting boxes, they tried to keep them cheaper. And Tyranids, you need a lot of models to even play a small point value, so it's a weird balance there. But with this, like Sam said, you get a Broodlord, 8 Gene Stealers, and a Trigon. Great start. If you like these units, just the looks of them or how they play, definitely get this, because you're basically getting that Broodlord for free.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's a free model. It's a good discount.
Right, and, to go back to, Tyranids being iconic, Gene Stealers are super iconic even amongst, I know I said, it's not what I'd think of for a starting army, but like Space Hulk stuff, classic 80s, 90s Tyranids.
The old Tyranids.
Tyranids. Gene Stealers are a super crucial part of that look.
Yeah, there's something that haven't changed too much. They've stuck to the core there. So again, it's a solid start. Some other things to consider. This box will not be around for probably much longer. When we get our new 9th edition codex, we will more likely than not get a new start or combat patrol box, which will be more expensive than this, but it will give you theoretically about a 500 point army.
It's like a patrol detachment right out of the box, right?
Yeah, 500 point patrol detachment essentially right out of the box, ready to go. So if you're on the fence about getting this one or not, you might want to pick it up before it goes out of stock. That's what I'm looking at. As soon as I see any leaks to the Tyranids getting a new stuff, I'm going to snag one of these because I need 8 more Gene Stealers. I would like a second non-Gene Stealer called Broodlord, and I want a Trigon because my old Trigons are, 8 years old. They're kind of painted not the best, and I want to use my new paint skills on the Trigon.
Right.
Without derailing. So that's that. It's a good box, but if you're not going to use the units, don't just buy it because it's a discount. But that's a way to do it, just putting that out there.
And then, I don't know if this is relevant or not, but it's usually how much for the Combat Patrol boxes, like 150 versus 90? Or do I have my prices completely out of whack?
No. Yeah, the Start Collecting box for Tyranids is about 90-95, and the Combat Patrol will be about 140.
Okay.
So you can probably find them cheaper. We'll show you more of that later. But yeah, so it's more, you'll get more out of it, but it's just something to consider.
Yeah.
So now that you've got either your Start Collecting box or you need some units to start because you don't want Start Collecting box, here are some next steps to consider. Good for all comers right now. You need a Hive Tyrant kit. Either the Hive Tyrant or the Swarm Lord, whatever you want to build them as. They're kind of a centerpiece HQ to a lot of armies. Not only do they look cool, but they perform great.
Yeah.
You will also want Gaunts. Maybe you're going to play Nidzilla. ignore the gaunts, but you will want gaunts. Probably 1 or 2 boxes of each, the Hormagaunts, Termagaunts, so you can run a 20-man block of each, or 2 10-man blocks, things like that. Hive Guard right now are the king of the Tyranids. They're the bane of a lot of armies' existence.
They're the bane of my existence. I hate them.
So I highly recommend getting a box of those. Some other options, Tyranid Warriors are great. They can be the backbone of a lot of competitive armies, or taking them in smaller squads, they're still great, solid troops. It's hard to go wrong with Tyranid Warriors, really. Finally, if you did buy the Start Collecting box, 8 Gene Stealers is not a lot. You ideally want at least 10. So if you buy another box of Gene Stealers, now you can run a squad of 16 technically, but you'll probably cut that off at 15 because of points.
Yeah.
So those are your next steps to think about. Once you've done that, some other key units to look at. These, again, looking for a little bit more of a competitive edge. If you want, like the look of some models, by all means go for it. But if you want a little competitive direction in your army, lictors are great for objectives right now. You could probably find them secondhand easily, but lictors are great. Another box of Hive Guard, so you can run a unit of 5 or 6, which is really good. You might as well go all in.
Why not if you're already gonna?
Yeah. Exocrines, at least 1 Exocrine. Again, they're very good units. 2 of them's awesome and probably a staple in a lot of top lists right now. So, and you can magnetize them because they also have the Haruspex. Magnetizing is awesome with Tyranids. And then a personal favorite of mine are Zoanthropes. 2 boxes of those could be good because now you can run 5 Zoanthropes and a Neurothrope, and a Neurothrope is again a top-notch HQ for the Tyranids. Yeah. Or you can run 6 Zoanthropes.
And enjoy that build while you can, because I cannot imagine that it's going to last much longer than this Codex.
That's a good thing to say. With the Codex coming around, don't necessarily go straight for the competitive unless you're going to get them built up and go, but just keep in mind that everything is subject to change when the 9th edition Codex rolls around.
It's always important when you're building an army to consider the meta, if you don't want to just get stomped on constantly, but also what you think is cool will be cool much longer than it might be effective in the game.
Absolutely. I like, when I started collecting, it was rule of cool over competitiveness. If I don't like the look of the model, then I'm not going to use it unless it is good. But if I like the look of the model, I'm going to use it regardless if it's good or bad.
Right, and then it's even more fun to try to find the puzzle, or I guess the peg, the way to make it good.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. So now once you've got a good force, either you went with the Start Collecting route or you bought some of those units or both. Now some things to kind of start flushing you up to 2,000 points. I like the Tyrannofex and Tervagon kit solely because it's a big kit. It's actually not that expensive, and you can magnetize it. So now you have some variety with your force.
Right.
Bring them either way. They're not.
You've got a cool video about how to magnetize these kind of kits out already too.
Yes.
Okay.
I have my video. We'll put it here, or I think it's Sam's head.
Over there.
That's how to do the Haruspex and the Exocrine.
Okay.
That's the easiest one to magnetize. So if you're going to do a first magnetization, start with that one. It's simple to do. The Tyrannofex Tervagon is a bit trickier because you have that big birthing stack. That is difficult to magnetize, but it can be done. I'll eventually get a video out on that one.
And then also just like, I don't know, these models, the Tyrannofex, or the birthing one, Baby Mama. Tervagon. Yeah. So many T names. I don't know, it's kind of, that's epitome Tyranid 40k. Just like this big, giant, disgusting bio monster, like spewing out bugs from its stomach. Ugh. Nasty.
Yeah, I love them. So another thing, you might want to get another Hive Tyrant Swarm Lord. 2 Hive Tyrants is great. Hive Tyrant Swarm Lord is awesome. Again, variety in your list.
One's a target, 2's hard to pick.
Yeah. You can never have enough Gaunts. We said buy a couple squads. I think you want at least like 60 of each. I mean, once you fully build up your force, 60 of each is great. I have 90 and 60, but
that's also how many years of collecting?
It is 10 on to 11 years of collecting, so it takes time.
Yeah.
But more Gene Stealers. If you get a total, you need 5 sets to reach 40 Gene Stealers. So 40 is a very solid amount. You probably, unless you're really teching into Gene Stealers, won't need more beyond that. Because you got 2 squads of 20, and that's a very healthy close combat force there.
Right. Especially if you're running the Swarm Lord.
Yeah, right now.
Right now.
Again, this is all 8th edition stuff. And finally, like we said before, warriors are great. So adding a few more boxes of warriors, so you have like a 9-man squad, or you can run them as, you know, a couple 3-man squads, is always a great variety tool in your army. So now we'll go into Forge World.
I love Forge World.
Forge World is great. Most armies in 40K, Forge World is a tool. They're not as competitive.
Yeah.
And they're more expensive. Like the actual model itself is more expensive. They look cool, but they're not as competitive. Tyranids are different.
Yeah.
Tyranids are probably the only faction where Forge World right now in 8th edition.
8th edition Codex in the 9th edition world.
Forge World is the most competitive options for the Tyranids. The Demacrons are absurd. The hero duels are great, and the Malanthrope is just an absolute nuisance of an HQ choice.
Right.
It is unfortunate. Be careful. Don't get, unless you got money, unless you're made of money, don't get your eyes set on Forge World too quick, too soon. Like we said, they are expensive. One of these barbed hero duels is $175 US.
And
I've been collecting for 10 years, and I am just now forking out the money for some of these.
Right.
Just, you know, it's what it is.
But if you're looking for, you know, a cool centerpiece model, like if you have an army, some Forge World models, they're just really visually striking and distinctive and just cool looking. And also, this is just my minor plug. It's probably really expensive on the secondhand market, but if you can find Forge World's old Anphelion project book, that is an amazing book full of cool Tyranid stuff.
Oh, okay.
Outdated rules, but the lore is awesome. It's like Jurassic Park 40K.
Oh, yeah, very cool.
Yep.
I know what you're talking about, not to say it that way. So now we've gone over the basics. The rest is up to you, like we said. Play around with what you want with your smaller force. Of course, don't go straight into 2,000 points, especially if you're new to the game. Start with that 500 point.
Right.
Figure out the rules, figure out some synergies, move to 1,000, figure out some rules, synergies, and slowly build that list up. Figure out, do you want more close combat? Do you want more shooting, more big guys? Go from there. Maybe at this point you've got an idea of a list that you want to run, and you can work towards that. We said this at the very beginning. Sand pointed this out.
Yeah.
Tyranids are one of the most diverse codices in 40K. You can play a full deep strike army. You can play a full flying army. Nidzilla, Swarm, anything you could think of. Tyranids have a way to do it. May not be the most competitive, but rule of cool wise, Tyranids have a way to do it.
And again, I'm going to say it again because I really think it bears repeating as many ways as possible. What you think is cool will be in effect much longer than what is good. If you look at the way I build my armies, and if you look at my collection, it's 100% rule of cool. I still play all old Space Marines with lots of Forge World vehicles because that's what I think looks cool. It might not be the best, but it's fun to put on the table. And that's ultimately, at the end of the day, unless you do plan on going to a lot of tournaments, what you think is cool and fun is, at the end of the day, the most important thing.
Exactly. You want to have fun with this hobby. Don't always go to competitive, especially don't start out competitive, because you will get beat down. Maybe.
Unless you're really familiar with the game and you know how to exploit a lot of the things in the Tyranid Codex. Even then.
Yeah, but if you're brand new, don't go straight to competitive. Have some fun with some friends. Or go to the shop. You can always go to your local shop. Be like, hey, I'm learning. I want to play a smaller game to just understand rules. As long as they're not a dick, they will bring a nice, easy list to learn, as long as you make that clear. If you don't, well, that's your own fault.
Right. Or maybe you're a masochist and you like spending a lot of money and then going to a tournament and placing last. Somebody might like that.
Somebody might do that. So, and if there's a unit you're browsing through the Codex and you like the look of it, and you're like, hey, this could be cool, I wonder if we can make them good. Check out this channel. There's more videos here. We will slowly cover I don't know if we'll get through all of them before 9th edition Codex comes around, but we'll get to a lot of them.
Hey. And once the 9th edition Codex comes out, I'm sure we'll have more than enough time to go through every unit in the Codex.
We'll do it all again, see which ones changed, and But again, just a little plug for the channel.
Right.
If you find a unit you like, we might have covered it. We've typically started with the more customizable units.
And the most iconic, the Carnifexes and stuff like that.
So yeah, so that's that. Whichever, you like, definitely check it out. And Rule of Cool, I think, is a better way to play over competitive, especially if you're new. Now, when it comes to actually purchasing your Tyranids, there are some things we have to discuss for the better of your wallet. Tyranids, while they are one of the most diverse armies, they're also probably up there as one of the most expensive ones to collect.
Yeah. Games Workshop hobbies are already expensive, and the Tyranids are an army that just inherently, in most cases, either requires a lot of models or a couple really expensive models.
Yes, a box of 12, I believe it's 12 Gaunts is $35, which is
that hurts
60 points.
That hurts to think about.
60 points for 12 Gaunts, and if you want 60 of those, I mean, at that point, that's why Space Marines are so popular. They're so much cheaper. There are ways to get around this. First off, do not always buy straight from GW's website or GW's store. Be frugal. Do some searching around. Look for, third-party game stores, online and in person. There's a good chance, not all of them do this, but there are plenty of them out there that will sell 40K at anywhere from 10 to 20% off.
Right. I actually work in the hobby industry, and I'm quite familiar with many retailers across the country. It's pretty standard to offer some kind of discount, anywhere from 5, 10, 15, 20%, and a lot of friendly local game stores, in addition to offering things at a lower base price, they have like a rewards program or like a membership program where you can sign up and you get points for buying, and not only do you get things cheaper, you get to support the place where you're probably playing.
Absolutely.
Which is important. Support your hobby stores.
We're not going against GW. GW's got great stores. They typically have great staff, like all other places.
The one here in Eden Prairie, Minnesota, John, guy who runs it, great guy. Love talking to him.
If he sees you, you're awesome.
Yeah, if you see this, you're cool.
But so we're not going against GW, but especially if you're new and you're a little strapped for cash, definitely look around for other places. Some examples, eBay.
Yeah.
Awesome. If you can buy like brand new models still at your 15% is pretty standard there.
Caveat emptor with eBay though. You can't always have to be careful.
Yes, typically go for do a little bit of research. Don't just buy anything you see. Check, most places have a rating, and a lot of the times if you see new and box stuff on eBay, they're like an online store that runs through eBay, so you're probably safe there. But if something looks a little sketchy, it is eBay. Careful. I have had very few issues with eBay, so I guess it's more also I buy a lot of Forge World stuff on eBay. If you see something that's a suspiciously good price, it's probably a recast. That is Forge World. It's probably a recast.
Yeah, so
you want to stay away from those typically, but that is what it is. So another place that I've been using a lot recently is the Facebook Marketplace. And I'm not a fan of Facebook, but this page is the only reason I really still use it. It is the Warhammer 40K / Age of Sigmar buy, sell, trade for at least USA and Canada. Maybe there's one for Europe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm in a couple other trading groups on Facebook, and there's a really thriving European trading community.
There you go. So this is great. There are people always out there. They're trying to get rid of models. They want to trade armies, trade models.
Yeah.
You can typically find stuff for some good deals.
Right. Some people are just like, I need to pay bills, or I just need to get this stuff out of my house, or I have too many armies. Please help get them off my hands. That's how we got our Imperial Guard army.
We snagged a great deal on that place, and you just couldn't pass it up. We've been wanting Imperial Guard, and then we saw that
Right, auto buy.
Finally, we'll say, don't be afraid to buy used models. That kind of goes with the eBay and the marketplace, but I have 7,000 points of Tyranids. I would say 3,000 to 4,000 points of those are secondhand or used models. Very few kits are bought straight from GW, and if they were, most of them were part of discount boxes that they have put out in the past. Gaunts are a great place to get some used models. I would say out of my 150 Gaunts, probably 100 of them are secondhand models. Because unless you're someone who's going for, you want the best paint job possible, you want to spend your time, then maybe buy them, new or lightly used. But Gaunts, you're running so many of them that no one is, taking a magnifying glass down to your Gaunts, like, look at that Gaunt.
Yeah, that Gaunt's pretty badly painted. And remember, when you're buying models secondhand, a bad paint job that's nothing that 90% isopropyl alcohol and an ultrasonic cleaner can't fix.
Yes, there are definitely, we don't have a video for that, maybe we'll have it in the future.
Right.
But just look at YouTube, there's plenty of ways that show how to strip paint, and then it's basically a brand new model.
Yeah, my 5-second tutorial, buy an ultrasonic cleaner, buy 90% isopropyl alcohol, combine the two, you're good to go.
Be careful.
Yes.
If you're young, have your parents help you, because those chemicals are not the safest of things.
And also don't put forge rolled resin in an ultrasonic cleaner, because it does get hot, and I didn't realize this, and I accidentally turned one of my models into malleable rubber.
Oh,
so
funny.
Don't do that. It's a bad idea.
There you go. So
bitter experience.
back to the Gaunts. Gaunts are a great place to go because, you don't need a great paint job on your Gaunts.
Yeah.
You just need them to fill the board. And sure, some of them, if you could do what I do, is
put a giant head on one.
You could. That's different, but. Maybe half your Gaunts are like, so-so paint job, and half of them are newer models, and they have a nicer paint job. And you kind of mix them up. So you don't have one squad ugly or semi-ugly, one squad really nice. Mix them up so they kind of blend in. It really goes a long way, and it will save you a lot of money.
Right.
So we're going to go over quickly some 3 example lists at 500 points, 1,000 points, and 2,000, and just kind of showing you this is, again, an all-comers list. Nothing too competitive, but it should be able to hold its weight. And this is basing it off of, buying and start collecting boxes, your base. So we'll look here. We have a Broodlord, 20 Termagants, 8 Gene Stealers, and Trigons. So that is $95 for the start collecting box. And if you buy the Gaunts brand new, that is $70. This is why I say, please try and get your Gaunts secondhand.
Don't buy Gaunts from Games Workshop.
Try and get your Gaunts. I don't think I have. I don't know if I have a single set of Gaunts that are brand new GW out of my 150. But yeah, anyway. So that's 165. That'll be a pretty fun, decent 500 point list. Now we'll go on to 1,000 points. So some units you'll want to add. You will add a Hive Tyrant. You will add an extra box of Gene Stealers. You should be able to make Ripper Swarms out of the Gene Stealers and the Termagon kits. You should be able to make 4, for sure 3 Ripper bases, but I think you can stretch 4 Ripper bases out of it.
And I think if you just put 1 Ripper on a base, most people would be fine accepting it as a swarm.
It's fine. I think you can do. I think you can get. They come with 4 per base, and you can get by. I get by with 3 per base. That way you can get an extra one, and that's how you can do that. And then finally, you want to add a unit of Hive Guard. So for that, you're paying your $165 for your previous army cost, plus the 36 Gene Stealers, 70 for Hive Guard, 60 for Hive Tyrant. Now your price for your 1,000 points is 331, which isn't that bad.
Right, and this is
point army.
Assuming full Games Workshop MSRP, no price saving tactics taken.
And if you go price saving, this is like the most expensive you should be paying for this, minus taxes, whatever. But taxes suck on GW because it's already expensive. But this is the most you should be paying. Now we'll go over to the 2,000 point. So again, you're doubling the price, so you'll add a lot more. You'll want a Neurothrope as another HQ choice, 20 more Termagants. You want to add some extra Gene Stealers in there. I had to cut off a Ripper base just because points. So 6 Tyranid Warriors, so that's 2 more boxes of Warriors, an extra box of Hive Guard, 2 Lictors, your Zonethropes, so 2 boxes of those, that's where the Neurothrope comes from, and a Heavy Support. And what you're adding from this is another box of Gene Stealers. Now you have your full 20. 2 more boxes of Termagants, $70, that hurts to say. Another box of Hive Guard, 70. Your Warriors, which are they're getting expensive. $110 for your warrior box. Your Zoanthropes and Neurothropes, $132. Your Lictors would be about $50, and your Exocrine at $75, which is a grand total of $875. Again, that is the most expensive you should be paying for an army like this. You can get this down into the $700 range very reliably, and if you find some great deals on eBay or the Facebook place,
yeah, you can go down even deeper.
Get it to 600 or less. But that's a good all-comers list. I think, you know, the Termagants, I believe there are points in there to make, you know, 20 of them Devil Gaunts, so you can, you know, deep strike your Trigon with Devil Gaunts, have some good firepower. Hive Guard and Zoanthropes are always good. The Lictors are great. I think it's a great all-comers list. You could probably, I believe the points are in there to swap the Hive Turn out for the Swarm Lord if you want. He pairs well with the Gene Stealers. You know, take the list, fluff it out with how you want to play it.
Yeah, pull things out, replace them, slot things in, do what you think is cool.
Exactly, but this is just the list, or an example of what, you know, 2,000 point, an all-comers 2,000 point list should look like, the price it should look like. That way, if maybe you're new, you can see, all right, this is what I'm going to get myself into. What I like to do before we wrap up here, I like to make an Excel spreadsheet of what I think I want in my army. And I put the GW price in one column, and then I try to put in another column what I think I can get it for. So let's say 15% off is my standard I go for. And I try to see, okay, so what am I working with? And I make it like a goal to spend that 15% off price. If I can get it lower, great. Sometimes it'll be high, not higher overall, but some things will be higher than 15%. It's just what you can find.
My armies are asynchronous nightmares where I just keep buying things that I think are cool. There's no planning or thought put into them.
Again, if Tyranids are going to be your big army like they are for me to collect or for your Space Marines, then some of this might just get thrown out the window. But again, we've been collecting for 10 years. We were also in high school, in college for a lot of that time, so we did not have money. Now that we've got our big boy job for a couple of years, we can spend a little bit more.
Right,
still,
we can go wild.
We are addicted to the plastic crack.
Plastic and resin for my case.
This is a PSA to all of you newcomers. Please be careful with your wallets.
Yeah.
Think about, you know, other things besides 40K. It's very easy to get sucked into, you know, oh, I want to buy this and this and this. Take it a step, one model kit at a time or two model kits at a time. Paint them, play with them. Don't get sucked in, because the last thing we want is for somebody to spend a ton of money, not have as much fun, get burnout, and then sell it. Now it's a great deal for someone else to maybe snag. But we want you to have fun in the hobby.
A great way to do it, if you have a bunch of friends who all want to start playing 40K, something like an escalation league where you start out small and just slowly, over the course of a couple months, add in 1 or 2 units each month.
Absolutely.
That's a great way to do it, because if you start out small and you realize, hey, maybe 40K is not the game for me, you know, you're only out a little bit of money, versus like if you drop $900 on a 2,000 point list and you're like, wait, actually I don't like playing 40K that much.
Or absolutely. Or if you maybe you like the game but you just don't like Tyranids. Sad to see it go, but maybe you can, you know, you haven't put that investment. Maybe you can trade it with somebody who is in the same situation as you and want to try a different army. Otherwise, I think that's all. We've rambled a lot. I think it's all good rambling.
I think it's good rambling.
So hopefully, if you are new to the Tyranids, new to 40K, and you found this video useful, please like and subscribe. Stay tuned. We will have plenty more AdMech and, well, Tyranids and some AdMech videos with other things to come.
Freudian slip.
Yes. But let us know what you think. If you are watching this and you are more into the Tyranids like I am, I've got plenty of points. Are there any other tips you have for new players? Put those in the comments as well. Hopefully they can see them and we can just kind of help new people grow and enter into the hobby of 40K. With that being said, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.